is way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He fell charged him!
Oh, and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what?
He gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
The 21 Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition Randomizer Tournament. My name is Shafe, joined alongside Athos on comms. If you've never seen Ori and the Blind Forest before, it is a Metroidvania, which means that you run around to go get skills, to unlock other areas, to get more skills, and so on and so forth until you beat the game. And the randomizer functions very similarly according to a logic in which the first 4 pickups are placed in such a way that they're going to unlock another area with either a skill or a teleporter. All the items are placed randomly throughout the world, including skills, dungeon keys, health cells, ability cells, energy cells, and experience. And we are also running excuse me, on the forest trees and clues mode for this race. Forest trees being that all the runners are going to have to visit the 10 vanilla skill locations throughout the game before they can unlock the final escape. And every third tree that they acquire will give them a random clue to the location of one of the dungeon keys: the Water Vein for Ginzo, Sunstone for Mount Horu, and Gumon Seal for the Forlorn Ruins. It's worth noting that the Forlorn Ruins doesn't contain one of those tree objectives, so the runners are primarily going to be looking for, hopefully, fingers crossed, just the Water Vein and the Sunstone. We have Romulus08 versus gecko376 participating in this race in Athos. We had a chance to talk to them a little bit beforehand.
We did. We asked them a few questions, and both runners told us that they actually want an early bash. Bash early on allows for a lot of areas to be open and opens up the logic quite a bit. They also told us that they would like to head into Grotto, and Grotto is one of those really dense early pickup areas and also has a tree, and as you said, Shafe, we'll have to correct that tree. Gecko also told us that he wants a close race and that he wants to emphasize to make safety saves this entire game. He doesn't want to lose a lot of time. And he is so focused on safety saves that he even jumped in the main Discord and reminded Rom to please make safety saves so we can have a close match and none of us take a huge death that loses it all. Next, Gecko told us that his goal for this match is to finish within the top 10, and since there seems to be quite fewer entrants in this preliminary than usual, perhaps because of the time, that seems to be quite possible for Gecko. Now, for Romulus, last time he was broadcast on SpeedGaming, we got probably the worst seed in recent memory. And Shafe, you played in that one. I'm sure you remember.
Oh my god, that was a seed for sure. We ended up having charge jump locked behind the Wilhelm XP over in the Sorrow Pass entry, and it was the first time I think anybody has ever seen that in Logic. So definitely the runners are going to be hoping that that doesn't happen again. But if it does, they'll be aware of it at least.
Yeah, that's right. And so Rom doesn't even want to beat maybe his opponent that much. All Rom wants to do is win the man versus machine battle. He wants to beat the random, he wants to beat the seed gen, and he wants to get revenge on what happened last time.
All right, we'll go ahead and give the runners approximately a 1-minute warning. In the meantime, I want to remind you about the schedule that we've got coming up for this week. We have more preliminaries on the way, Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be featuring Zemsys versus Infinite. Zemsys recently taking a win over Trite Knight, who is perhaps one of the favored runners in the randomizer tournament. And Infinite, no slouch himself, so that's going to be a very good match. On Wednesday at 9 Eastern, we have Turtle Guy versus Ernest. Thursday, we have Sirius versus Liftoff, and we don't have featured runners quite yet for Friday. That one is going to be happening at around 7 o'clock. Still also looking to track down what channels that we're going to be on, but they are going to be on the SpeedGaming network of channels. Absolutely. 100% for sure. No questions asked. Romulus has one more race left to finish before he is going to be qualified for the bracket, so that'll be this one. Gecko, in the meantime, has raced 6 total races. Gecko sitting currently at the 28th seed and Romulus at 31. And we're getting to the point now where a lot of the runners have completed their required 5 qualifying races, but still a lot of room for improvement. As you alluded to, Athos, only 13 runners participating in this one, so plenty of opportunity to snag one of those top finishes.
That's right, and Rom is actually below Gecko slightly on the standings currently, but one of the races that Rom completed was indeed the forfeit from that terrible seed. So I'm sure Romulus would actually like to finish this seed and do well, but then have another seed just to improve his standing a bit. And I'm sure we'll see the standings go up and down a bit. And here we go into the actual game, and we already have a skill, don't we, Shafe?
Yeah, wall jump hit is the first skill that you get in the base game. It's always nice to have that as wall interaction. Kind of a rude trick that you would have to do if you had climb, so I'm sure the runners are kind of happy to see that. Although they will not necessarily be happy to see wall jump combined with just sea flame, which will have them running around for quite a bit, I'm sure. You're going to see Gecko on the right side just kind of meme a little bit and hug the rhino there as they go to collect the second pickup underneath sign. It is just an ability cell sign, technically not required by the runners. If they wanted, they could feasibly skip this. It is not one of the 10 tree locations, but it's just sort of assumed that you're going to get it for basic attack purposes here in the early going.
That is right, and now we're going to be collecting sign. Of course, it's going to let us attack. This pickup is not randomized, and the runners are going to use the Alt-R. Bind that we have just built in for the randomizer allows the runners to return to spawn to avoid soft locking and to have the game move a little bit faster. And now the runners are both going to decide to go into glades and pick up those two keystones in the vanilla game. They're not actually keystones, maybe. Maybe they are keystones. What are they going to be?
Very well could be keystones. That one definitely is. Does mean that there's a possibility here, of course, of there being a second one, but they do already have access to Black Root Burrows, one of the tree locations here in the early going, and yep, they're going to be forced to do it. You're going to see Romulus on the left side of your screen drop down here to check what we call fake flippers, as just sort of in honor of the Link to the Past randomizer on which the Ori randomizer was inspired. He's going to wait for this fish to move in a bit of a better position because he had to pause for a second just to watch the little Keystone Door cutscene there. It is the Forlorn Teleporter. Could be big, could be not so much big. All the runners participating are going to find that fake flippers is pretty standard check at this point for most runners. They're going to drop down here and go into Black Root Burrows and set up for a save anywhere Athos.
Yeah, so this save anywhere is a trick where we can keep the menu open while walking around. The game doesn't intend us to be able to do this. And basically what we can do is we can level up an ability behind the menu, and leveling up an ability actually autosaves the game. So by autosaving and then quitting and reloading, we can sort of trick the game and have it skip the cutscene without it playing and save a bunch of time. Gecko gets it, well done, and he's going to be heading into Blackroot. Looks like Rom on the left is following close behind.
Yeah, this is a pretty dangerous area to be in on only 3 hit points. Both runners kind of taking it safe while jumping off the wall instead of doing a wraparound jump there. Gecko's going to have a bit of a slight lead as Romulus takes some damage off of that spine, does place a safety save. Gecko on the right side of your screen, traversing back to the right, skipping the sort of intended carry the orb across the auto-scroller section, having a little bit of trouble here with this wall jump, allowing Romulus to catch up just a little bit, picking up the orb. Ooh, got the iframes before the spider shot sniped him. Romulus, in the meantime, did have a little bit of spaghetti there. I thought I ate it all for dinner before entering the broadcast booth here, but as it turns out, there is still a little bit left in the forest of Nibel. Romulus is going to be lagging a little bit behind now as Gecko is re-entering to check the upper Blackroot section.
Yeah, and I love the safety saves by both here, making sure that they don't go sent really far back. For Gecko didn't seem to need it because he made it through first try, but Rom did take a death, and instead of getting sent all the way back to the beginning, he could just resume from that save. So very well done by Rom. Gecko, meanwhile, a little bit ahead. He's going to be doing maybe a small manipulation to try to get this platform to come. The orb doesn't want to cooperate, and he might be able to make it and picks up the orb. Well done by Gecko on the right.
Yeah, and you can buffer dropping this orb here, which most runners do. Ooh, interestingly enough, Gecko's going to leave it there on the platform before he goes off to check this experience pickup on the right. It's a little bit of a precise wraparound jump onto the wall, but does get it. It's just 18 experience. Romulus trailing fairly close behind. Let's see if Gecko catches the Blackroot cycle as he goes to place a save near the pedestal. I can see it coming down there. Yeah, and the orb dropped, so he had to double back and grab it, but he'll make... He'll make the cycle here pretty clean. Romulus, in the meantime, left side of your screen is lighting the lantern and going to progress off and probably be pretty sad that it's just 18 experience. There are only a few more pickups in Logic Athos. We've got the Dash Tree and Indiana Jones left for the runners to pick up.
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder what progression might be. As you said in the beginning, charge flame could be a thing. We don't really want to see it because wall jump charge flame is a really, really slow progression. It's sort of what you have in the vanilla game, and you sort of are forced to go around, make this huge loop around swamp, and maybe hope to find something. So maybe we'll see something faster. Both runners said they want to get bash. Do you think we could find bash here?
It's entirely possible that they'll find Bash. If so, there will open another pickup over near the Death Gauntlet entrance heading to Moon Grotto. You're going to see Gecko here take a death as he's trying to walk over top of these crushers. You're intended to have Dash to go underneath them. And in the dark here, get a little bit difficult. Second try, let's see how he does. Lands on the second crusher, third, now fourth, dropping into the map zone. It's energy regen. That is a bonus pickup in the randomizer. It's not present in the vanilla game, but it will give the runners a slow little bit of tick up of energy refill over time, which can certainly come handy in a few situations. Romulus now not taking the death there on the crushers is going to be catching up just a little bit more time, as well as Gecko missing the stack. Romulus gets it. You're going to see Romulus on your left side of your screen acquire blind movement thanks to that cutscene stack, and it's going to be neck and neck here as they drop down to the main orb ability cell.
Yeah, they're basically just with this stack and a few mistakes from Gecko, and the runners are all tied up. And this is Dash. This is another fast skill that the runners wanted. Wow, this is going to be a zoom race, Shave. This is no C flame wall jump here.
Definitely not, and the runners will be getting access to out of logic blue break once they have enough ability points to level up Dash. It's absolutely gargantuan, that pickup. Gecko does get the fake flippers. It sees that it's a forlorn teleporter, but takes the death to get the ghost door. Just for whatever reason, the doors kind of go out of spawn for a little while when you take a death quickly. And now we're going to have a little bit of a divergence here, Athos. We're going to see Gecko go straight down to the wall jump tree, pushing that objective. Romulus, in the meanwhile, is perhaps a little bit afraid of what might be hiding behind Boulder Escape, particularly since Dash now puts that in logic.
Yes, that's right. Gecko did get 2 keystones, so that's why he decided to go left. But Romulus wanted maybe to be a little more thorough. Maybe they just want to do it in different order. But yeah, getting Dash and Blackroot sort of immediately signals, oh, let's continue in Blackroot. Why not? So Rom is going to get the first pickup here in just a minute, wants to refill his energy. Again, seems like this is the name of the game, and he gets Warmth Returned, which does absolutely nothing. Now save anywhere on the left to skip this boulder chase, and the reason he does that actually is to save that Frankie, isn't it, Shave?
Yeah, so that Frankie is intended to die to that boulder as it traverses underneath the crushers here. So it doesn't actually respawn, but it could be very valuable for us later on in the seed if we need to use that to sequence break into lower Blackroot to get towards the grenade tree. Another keystone here on the health cell for Romulus, left side of your screen. Again, 2 map stones have been picked up by the runners. Gecko has turned in the first one. It's just experience. You're going to see that shortly for Romulus. Again on the left side of your screen, but he's going to be able to check the second map altar just a little bit sooner than Gecko will, unless Gecko backtracks into Blackroot there and through the boulder escape. One more pickup here behind the boulder. It is a mega health. Ooh, interesting. That's going to give Romulus an opportunity to check long flippers.
Yeah, long flipper is another swim next to fake flippers, as we call it. I believe this is a Link to the Past reference. And Gecko on the right, getting the wall jump tree. So Gecko is actually just one more tree away from getting our first clue. As you explained, Shafe, when we get for 3 clues, 6 and 9, we will get 1 hint each on where the keys are. So the Gumon Seal, the Water Vein, and Sunstone that are going to open our dungeons. And yeah, so here we go. I think Gecko is deciding to climb out of here, actually. I'm not really sure why. Do you have any idea, Shafe?
This is slower. It could be that he thinks it's faster, which is entirely reasonable with Dash, but you do need a vertical skill like Dash, Nade, or Charge Jump in order to be able to beat the Altar out of here. And he's having trouble with this little speed trick that we do in the all skills and all cells, pretty much every category here, coming out of wall jump. Jumping off that pointed log named faithfully after one of our runners, Trojan. Pretty precise to do so. In the meantime, Romulus is already back into the wall jump loop. Gecko is going to have the first crack here at Spirit Caverns and heading up onto the Sea Flame Tree.
Yeah, so far progression seems to be fairly linear. There's really nowhere to go. Both runners, I imagine, will go to Spirit Caverns. Rom is gonna have to get a few pickups first. We're gonna have those spitters shooting at them. Ooh, and Rom actually takes a death, but again, another safety saves, so not a very big time loss. So far, Gecko getting just 1 keystone, and there seems to be 3 pickups left. Are there gonna be more keystones? Nope. Here's an energy cell from Gecko on the right.
So this is possibly indicating a teleporter. I don't think they've picked up another right side teleporter. This is going to be. Oh no, Gecko is missing one of the keystones that was in behind Boulder Escape, and Romulus is going to have access to that with the two keystones in Spirit Caverns. So, in a way, fortunate for Gecko in that he's forced to backtrack here. He's going to get the opportunity to turn in the second map stone pretty much straight away and catch up with Romulus.
Yeah, essentially they're doing the same sort of revisits, but in reverse. Rom going immediately into Boulder Escape, meanwhile Gecko going to Wall Jump Tree, and then now coming back to the Boulder Escape. So they're more or less tied. A few mistakes from both runners. It's difficult to tell. Anything can happen in the randomizer, and yeah, they're here dashing around, trying to have the best movement they can, collecting the abilities, and yeah, we'll see if on the right from the left from Romulus, excuse me, what we're gonna get after the Spirit Caverns checks.
Yeah, so all eyes on the left side for the time being. We do know that the second map altar does have a keystone on it. Just touching on that real quick. Mapstones function basically as IOU tickets that you would have like at an arcade or something, where you turn them in and you're going to get a guaranteed pickup on the first one, guaranteed pickup on the second, sequentially in order. So the second mapstone turn-in, as you saw on both sides, even though both runners placed them in different orders, Gecko went to Spirit Caverns first, and now he's going to do the one here in Blackroot. This second one for Gecko is going to be a keystone. We know that for sure, having seen it on Romulus's side. In the meantime, Romulus probably with a little bit of a time advantage here, not having to do a second visit into Spirit Caverns. Just kind of one of those things that happens in routing. You take a little bit of a risk. Ooh, nice little ghost door there from Romulus on the Spirit Caverns door. Don't really see that a whole lot. He is going to keep this teleporter. Athos, do you want to explain what happens when you skip it?
Yeah, when you skip this teleporter, it sort of decides to break. The game glitches out, sort of, and then you can't use it anymore, so you can't teleport to it anymore. But if you manage to find a teleporter just as a pickup, then it suddenly works again. So I guess that's lovely. But Rom is going to decide to actually watch this cutscene, which takes a bit of time, but nothing too major, and it's already done, it seems. So he's going to have access to that teleporter if he wants to get there in the future. Actually, Shafe, do you think that ability points might be big here? Because if the runners end up leveling Charge Dash before they find any blue break, that might help them get some blue breakage checks, isn't it?
Well, worth noting, there actually is an air dash check up here, right above the Sea Flame tree, where you see Romulus is breaking it and now luring this Frankie. And air dash, leveling it on the skill tree is considered standard logic, so that is an expectation for the runners for sure. Going all the way up to charge dash is not. Ooh, stomp. That is going to allow Romulus to gain access into Valley entry as well and break blue things from the right side, not plants, just walls. And you're going to see him demonstrate that right here at the Sea Flame tree. In the meantime, Gecko on the right side, catching up to Rom a little bit. We'll see whether or not he decides to skip the teleporter or keep it. He is setting up for the SA. He is going to skip it, and that'll recover somewhere in the neighborhood of roughly 23-ish seconds on Gecko's side. In the meantime, Romulus does Alt-R and is pushing for trees. I really like this play, Athos. He's got the objective in his mind. It's fixated. He knows grenade trees and logic, and he is just going straight for it instead of Valley entry.
That's right, and we actually got our first clue. So Waterwind is going to be in Grotto here, so not in some scary place at first glance, but it could be locked by some blue break that the runners can't get yet. So we'll see how that impacts the routing. And yes, so Rom on the left, he's going to be breaking this barrier, not going to be needing that Frankie because they have Stomp. And let's see how he decides to route this. So straight to Grenade Tree, no pickups on the ways yet.
Yeah, he just wants to get his next tree here. And also, Grotto is in logic from the lower access point. If you saw the runners over at the Blackroot teleporter earlier on, there was a peg that they could stomp down, and that gains access to Grotto via that. So Blue Break no longer required. A couple energy cells would probably be preferable so that they can go get the Grotto teleporter straight away, rather than making the long, arduous climb back up the grotto shaft to the right side in Gumo's hideout. We'll see whether or not anything is on the grenade tree here for Romulus momentarily. Let's see what Gecko's planning to do. Is he's also teleporting to the Blackroot teleporter. And let's see whether or not he heads right or if he goes down to grenade. He is going to stomp the peg. You have to go down first, Gecko. There you go, bud. Yeah, so he's going to stomp the peg and he's going to go into grotto. Also a completely reasonable decision for him to make. And I would argue perhaps maybe a little bit more advantageous for Gecko on the sheer basis of pickup density, Rom. Athos.
Yeah, for sure. As we said, Grotto is a very dense area, and both runners even told us that they wanted to. Oh, I thought Gecko on the right was actually going to lure the Frankie for a second, but no, he's going to stomp the peg and going straight to grenades, so following in Romulus's footsteps. Oh, and there's a death by Gecko. Nothing too major, just going to be sent back to the teleporter. Thankfully, Dash is making those deaths slightly less punishing because the runners can sort of come back very fast, and both of them seem to be almost mirrored. Looks like Rom is heading back down there. He wants to get a few more checks before leaving to Grotto.
Yeah, so he's going to beat Gecko to this just by a little bit of a margin. Does have air dash to help get across these spikes here. These spikes do deal 3 damage. He's going to have to use the iframes from having placed the soul link there and taking the death if he wants to get across, and he decides it's just not worth his time for the time being. So he is going to alt R again after only seeing the one pickup here, which was a keystone. Turns out you can duck underneath these lasers, by the way. Pretty fun. And in all likelihood, while Rom did keep the Grove teleporter, he does have the option to go check Valley Entry, which has a few pickups in logic, but no, it looks like he's going back to Blackroot, and he's going to be heading into Grotto as well.
Yeah, so we'll see some Grotto checks. There's going to be a lot of pickup again. A very dense area, a tree, and Rom already has 4 trees, so pretty close to 6, maybe soon. Might need some more progression before he can do that, however. And looks like Gecko is really struggling in this area. Of course, the resources haven't been there this seed. They are still at 3 health. This means that they haven't gotten a single health pickup this entire seed, so they'll definitely want to get some more before they can finish the game.
Ooh, Romulus taking a hit off the spikes there. And speaking of, you call it, and they shall receive health cell for Romulus left side of your screen. He's happy about that. Immediately places a save. And he does a little dash glide here, which helps you preserve some of your horizontal momentum. That functioning basically by jumping out of a dasher and then going neutral on your inputs. Picks up a nice 69 experience and Spirit Light efficiency, which is going to double the experience he gains from all sources, and is going for a possible little mini power play here, as he's going to check the Grotto mini boss, an often forsaken check on the sheer basis of the time that it takes, but it's not too bad when you have Stomp and can redirect the projectile back at the mini boss.
That is right. Romulus being very, very thorough here. Does not want to get randoed, as we say. Don't want to miss any pickups that end up being progression. So checking everything that they can. Oh, and there is charge dash from Rom. So by using an energy, Rom can actually break blue plants. And since he has Stomp, he can actually get a refund for this energy. So this is a very strong combo from Rom. Note that this is not in logic in standard. However, I'm sure he'll be using it thoroughly to make sure that he doesn't have to backtrack in the future.
This is actually a really good timing for Romulus to get Charge Dash as well, because it's going to enable rocket jumps, which is exactly what it sounds like. By using Charge Dash towards an enemy that is above us and then canceling it with a jump, we're going to gain a whole lot of verticality. Gecko now is... Oh, he must have taken a death after he stomped the peg here. He's got to stomp it again. Going to lose just a couple seconds here, having to watch the cutscene again. Romulus is going to check this keystone first before rocket jumping up to the energy cell. If he decides to do that, only on 2 energy, might want to be preserving it. No, he's going to go up straight away and check this energy cell, because there's no way that you come here and you forget to check this and it's absolutely nothing. Never happened to anybody in Rando before.
Nobody ever missed a pickup in Rando, certainly, or forgot what logic expected them to do. In any case, Rom is going to check this energy cell, and it's another health cell. Oh, that's an evil crusher right there. But wait, did Romulus keep that health cell, or is he continuing? No, it looks like he's going to leave it.
Yeah, he's alt-Ring. He's only on 1 keystone, I believe. Can't go into the double jump area, so he's got to actually hunt for more resources. You alluded to it earlier there, Athos. This has been a fairly resource-starved opening here. They've only got the 2 energy. We know where a 5th health is out of logic. And just the 1 keystone here is sitting for Romulus. I would expect he's going to dip down to lower left grotto, or maybe even far left here with air dash. He's able to access that. Try and just dig for some more resources and a way to continue to find progression here. But both runners taking a few deaths, costing them each a little bit of time, and allowing kind of them to sort of still be within relative parity of each other. Gecko's not all that far behind Romulus at all.
Yeah, and Romulus actually finding a skill. So this is climb. It doesn't unlock anything immediately, at least nothing that comes to mind, but of course it could lead to grenade jump potentially in the future. Another thing that it actually unlocks is a pretty obscure sort of technique called the up dash. If you're climbing up and then dash, you can sort of have a dash that goes in the upward direction and allow Rom to check a few more things in Grotto. Looks like he's just doing a lot of revisits, just clearing out left side of Grotto. We'll see if he ends up checking that one off on the left. Looks like he hasn't yet, but he's teleporting back to Grotto immediately.
Yeah, Gecko's taking a couple of deaths here to this mini boss, is having a little bit of trouble getting the timing in order to reflect the projectile back, and it is pretty tight. The moment that the mini boss reaches the apex, that's about when you want to instigate the stomp. There you go. He gets it that time, only needs to do it once more, and he has successfully slain the said mini boss. Is going to be able to check this pickup. In the meantime, Romulus on the left side did acquire another keystone over there in left grotto, and now he is going to quite happily head over to the double jump tree. He is signaling with his mouse up above that he is skipping this pickup, and we'll see whether or not he wants to double back for that health, just for a little bit of extra safety. For the time being, it seems like he's not. He's just going to place a save here and go directly down to the double jump tree. Sort of one of those things, Athos, as I'm sure you're aware, when you feel behind in our AC, start to play a little bit more aggressive sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And on the left, I'm actually excited about one rocket jump that I think Rom might do. Frankie, rocket jump, boom, XP, and it's charge flame. So there's the logic blue break.
Okay, that's good for Romulus. It is out of logic because you're not supposed to check it with a rocket jump, but it is logical blue break as opposed to C dash. So we've kind of got like this sort of hybrid situation going on in terms of what logic is saying what. Was this a Valiant? I didn't quite see where Romulus was teleporting as Gecko Alt Rs once again ran into the same keystone issue as Romulus did. And yeah, Romulus is going to go to Grove now with this Sea Flame. He's going to stomp this wall down and check a couple pickups here. There's an awfully slow check on the tree up above it, but definitely could be something for the time being. He's a little... Okay, no, he wanted to set up for a rocket jump off of the bird. Well done. Charge dash targets enemies, Romulus, not plants, unfortunately. Is he gonna... Yeah, I think he might be taking a death here. No, he's decided against it. And he's going to be turning away, placing a save. In the meantime, Gecko on the right side, I don't believe has leveled Charge Dash yet. Unable to check what's on that plant, is going to place a save here. And probably go under... Oh, is he going the long way? He's going the long way to check far left Gumo hideout. In the meantime, Romulus in Valley entry finds charge jump. That is 2 out of 3 power skills for Romulus as he doubled back to get that plant pickup.
Yeah, so once more we get a skill off of this rocket jump. So another this charge dash has been huge this seed, it seems. So 2 pickups checked with rocket jump. The sea flame not as important, but charge jump is absolutely huge. And the thing that blocked Romulus from finishing the seed last time was indeed charge jump. So I'm sure he's happy about this one. He is pretty speedy. Charge jump dash. He's going to be flying through the spider-like area on the left, picking things up as fast as he can, even getting a mega energy to help him open that door and get an extra check here. Meanwhile, Gecko looks like a little bit of a struggle and another death. Yeah, this resources. He's still on 3 health here, Shave.
Yeah, and that is going to kill you instantly when you land on these spikes. He does have 4th health max now, as Romulus has gone up to, I believe, 3 base energy, possibly 4. Yeah, it looks like 4 there as he stomp cancels and gets the refund. Another energy cell on that far left pickup for Gecko. That's going to enable him to check a few pickups in that lower section of Grotto that Romulus wasn't able to check at the time. And in the meantime, we're going to see Romulus here continue on the way in sort of like the middle upper part of the map. He's going to be heading towards the swamp teleporter, does have the water vein, does have charge jump in order to be able to get up through Ginzo. A little bit low on keystones. He has 2. It's a bit of a risk, I would argue, at this point, Athos, for him to enter Ginzo. Oftentimes you're going to run into Ginzo and it's not going to give you any keystones at all, and you will be a sad dinosaur.
Yeah, there is a key duplication trick you could do there, but it is pretty slow. You have to backtrack a lot. You have to do a save anywhere, perhaps. And yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want to do that. And actually, Rom on the left did get a Valley teleporter, so that gives him very easy access to the left side. And another skill. This time it's Glide.
Oh my god, that death is absolutely massive from Rom.
Oh no, Rom, the safety saves didn't come through this time. That's a bit of a shame, but I'm sure he'll be able to get back. Again, charge jump and dash, a very, very fast combo. We'll see if he decides to skip any pickups. Well, this one was XP. Looks like he maybe forgot. That's all right. He'll be continuing, and I'm sure he'll be picking up that glide pickup.
Yeah, he's going to be going straight back to Glide, especially with the Valley TP. He has an opportunity, if he really wants here, to do some pretty aggressive strats in order to be able to get rid of the kill plane that Curl has guarding the left side of the map and start to access pickups and trees over there. As you see, he's doubling back for that Glide pickup. Gecko, in the meantime, has checked Valley entry, did not check the plant up above, and is currently still missing out on charge jump, and it's going to be heading back into Grotto now, trying to figure out his way through this seed. I'm going to see Romulus here. This is the antagonist of the game, by the way. Curl, pet the bird.
But the bird is certainly not evil and certainly does not want to kill us. No worries whatsoever. We're just having a quick exchange over here. Oh, Gecko is taking an interesting route on the right. We don't normally see that. And he actually uses an all-skill save to skip a cutscene here on the right. So that's good knowledge. And Rom is going to get a very convenient mapstone, turn it in, just experience, nothing too much, and going to continue checking. Oh, another mapstone. Wow. That's a lot of mapstones over here, Shafe. What's going on?
Yeah, pretty interesting. But speaking of, I was going to say, okay, so Romulus did want to go and dig for that water vein here first, and does find it on the charge flame pickup there, breaking the plant from underneath. So he's going to be able to go to Ginzo now. But climb and charge jump does give him access through both the upper and lower points here from to get into Swamp. Picks up another energy cell. Very nice when you want to charge dash all over the place. Runner's still looking for intended verticality to find charge flame, which we saw at the double jump tree. Could be grenade on the right side of the map. Could be double jump is currently hidden somewhere as well. Gecko does get this bridge glitched out appropriately and is now close to the grotto teleporter. Not quite there. Jumps down into the water. Plenty of experience, worth noting. That experience values can indicate sort of how deep the progression is in logic, and sometimes they don't, but having a relatively high experience count there could indicate that clean water is still a fair way off.
You know what isn't a fair way off though, Shave? Rom just got grenade, and that opens up grenade jump. He's going to be demonstrating for us on the left.
Bash.
Oh, and then bash off of the grenade jump. This is beautiful. He has everything he needs here, all the skills in the universe except double jump. But he doesn't need double jump at this point. All he needs is the trees right now. He wants to get the clues. He wants to know where the sunstone is. He'll absolutely need the sunstone to complete the seed. And let's see, is this going to be the 6th tree? Looks like it is, and Gumon Seal Mapstone. So this is a Gumon Seal clue. This is not very helpful for us. We do need the maps, the Sunstone. So it looks like Rom is just going to be checking trees as fast as possible to get the 9th clue and find the Sunstone.
I believe it was just so quick from Romulus. I believe grenade was on the plant at Swamp Entry as well, which does mean that other verticality is locked here somewhere on the right side of the map that is not charge jump. Not that he particularly cares. He's got bash, he's got grenade, he's got access to the entirety of the left side, and you can see Romulus now immediately pushing that left side, has 6 of the right side trees, does have access to go to Ginzo if he so desires, but is going to save heading into either Ginzo or Misty for tree number 9 so that he can just sort of check pickups along the way, and then once he's at the tree in that respective location, he'll be able to find out where the sunstone is and decide whether or not he needs to continue on. Some charge dashes and bashes, which also refund your energy, as you alluded to earlier. Athos with the stomp cancels, bash cancels function effectively the same way. I did check a couple pickups, so including the fast stompless ability cell, so it actually is about parity for him to watch this cutscene instead of performing the fast stompless trick. And finally, Gecko on the right side. He did skill map markers a little bit early on, so he was delayed in getting his charge dash. Does have it now. Is going to be able to do the rocket jumps. And out of logic for him anyway, blue break.
Yeah, and Rom told us that he does not want to deal with fast stompless whatsoever. That's another thing that haunted him, that one seed. So this time, no issue at all. Doesn't even, yeah, so could have done it. Doesn't wanna. He can just charge dash up, no problem. Gets the bird down, and actually this feather counts as a tree because, yeah, it's a skill in the vanilla game. So you'll get a pickup off of that and head off to the left side to collect more. Gecko taking a death on the right, no big deal. Does have a safety save there. And Shafe, I do believe Rom skipped 1 health cell, right? I think he grabbed it in the energy cell in BRB, but then just died and decided not to take it back. I wonder if he remembers, because at 4 health, it might still be difficult to complete the escape if he had to right now.
Yeah, he was kind of thinking about it. I think he was looking over at his map, was kind of indicating Black Group Burrows there for a second. Does get a health cell quite conveniently here on Frankie Walk, so he is at 5 HP now, which is very comfortable with Bash and Stomp, which is the minimum health that is required. 5, that is, for completing the final escape. Does get another one off of the Death Gauntlet roof check as well, so he is now comfortable on HP. Still checking a few pickups for resources. Only has the 1 keystone. He did mouse over the swamp area. He was thinking about going to Ginzo, and he probably had the same thing that I just noticed. Saw his keystone count and went, this is kind of bad.
Yeah, this whole time seems like the runners are checking a bunch of stuff, and they're getting resources, they're getting energy cells. Now they started getting health cells as well. Romulus is stacked, he has skills, but where are the keystones on this map? They're nowhere to be found so far. So looks like they have to dig for keystones of all things here. Maybe Rom will decide to maybe get one more keystone and dupe. We'll see. That it will be an interesting decision for this seed, I think.
Yeah, he's got a couple different options available to him. He did keep the Forlorn teleporter, most notably, so he could go there. That's a relatively fast dupe. He does have to collect the Swamp TP, just with the way the seed is played out. He hasn't accessed it just yet, so he's going to activate it right now. Will he stay here, or will he go to Ginzo, is the question. He is going to stay in Swamp for the time being and do a few extra checks. Gecko is taking advantage in the meantime of the rocket jumps on the right side of your screen. Unfortunately for him, he is just checking the wrong things, and that is just sometimes how the cookie crumbles. You check some stuff and it just doesn't work out for you. We know where progression is out of logic in plants, and Gecko's just having to check the wrong plants, and it makes me feel kind of bad for him, but that is random for you. In the meantime, Romulus is going into Ginzo with 1 very scary keystone. Ooh, does get another one off the plant check, though.
Oh yeah, that's huge. So now he would only have to dupe once. If that ends up being a problem, he doesn't get any more keystones. Yeah, so I was gonna say that with 1 keystone, this might actually give a chance for Gecko to make up some time, but with another keystone, that will be mitigated dramatically. We'll see what Gecko decides to do here, making some more checks, gets the Valley Teleporter, which is pretty huge for the seed, a very important pickup for him, potentially, to get to the left faster if he doesn't find Bash, for example. But yeah, hopefully he just gets those right checks. As you were saying, he does get a lot of checks, but it's just not the right checks. And of course, as a runner, you never know what the right checks are until you get them.
Yeah, a lot of the time, Romulus, in the meanwhile, left side, he is mousing frantically over that 2 keystone count. He's only got 4 pickups left to check, 24 experience on the first one, as Gecko has found the water vein and glide, but is at a pretty significant tree disadvantage here. Romulus is at 8 trees, about to get his 9th. In the meantime, we only have 5 on Gecko's side of the screen, so he doesn't even have his second clue yet. There is 1 keystone, but not a 4th. So Romulus is going to have to drop all the way back down here or go digging. He's going to drop back down and do the key dupe. So the way that this is going to function is that he's going to place a save down and then do a save anywhere to reallocate where the save is positioned, just sort of outside of that scene right there. You can see as the camera dips down, it deloads the keystone door. So when he goes and climbs back up and places the keys in the keystone door, then takes a death, the game's going to get confused about what exactly to do with those keys. And so it's just actually going to place them right back in his inventory. And then when Rom places another save after that, he's going to be able to keep those keystones and then so on and so forth. You could do this infinitely and get up to 200 keystones if you really wanted. So there you can see on his screen now, he has 3 refunded keystones plus the 3 he already had in his pocket, giving him a total of 6. And now he's going to be able to open up that keystone door and continue progressing in Ginzo on the way to Bash Tree, and he will find out where the Sunstone is.
That was actually kind of funny. The last check Romulus took, I believe, was a mega health, and that hurt him quite a bit because he had to take so much damage from those spikes to finally die and get those keystones. But he did get it, he is back, and now he's going to be getting the Bash Tree. Meanwhile, Gecko on the right is nearing towards where some of the skills are. He's going through the Swamp Loop, going to do another cutscene skip. This time, instead of a save anywhere, he's just going to be using the Rekindle to resave on the... What is that skill called? The Soul Link, right, Shafe? Who remembers the names of skills?
Yeah, in the vanilla game, it's a Soul Link. Yeah, sometimes you just get so used to calling things by other different names that the community comes up with, you forget what the intended name is. So no, that is an in-logic grenade there underneath. It wasn't the plant. I thought it was the plant because that's where I saw Romulus go. He went to check the ability cell, then hit the plant afterwards. So my apologies for the confusion there. It was on the ability cell, so double jump is going to be wherever the heck double jump is. And Grove TP for Gecko. So having skipped that teleporter earlier on, he's now going to have relatively free access to that as well. Grenade jump, as you can see on the left side from Romulus, nice big fat high one there. I don't think we've explained grenade jumps yet, Athos.
Yeah, so grenade jumps are actually a frame perfect trick, so pretty difficult. The idea here is that you can climb on a wall and then charge jump out of it. But if you throw a grenade the frame before you do the charge jump, then the game sort of forgets to slow you down, and then you just end up zooming without any deceleration and going very far. So every time they execute one, it is pretty difficult and impressive. And Rom actually executing another difficult trick called Sorrow Bash. He does not have wind restored, so he cannot just glide up. He has to bash those birds and manipulate them to get into Sorrow. But thankfully, I guess even if you don't get wind back, then Sora still has wind. But yeah, so he's just going to be able to glide here, and that should be no problem. Meanwhile, Gecko, this is huge. He does get charge jump, so he should have grenade jumps as well. Trying to do one here doesn't work out quite yet. Looks like he'll attempt it again.
So Romulus is about to get his ninth tree here, and we're going to find out where the Sunstone is. Whoa! He accidentally loaded a backup save. I was wondering why he was back at the Valley Teleporter. That's alright. He loaded the base one. He did pick up clean water here in the Dorito Caverns, by the way. Oh yeah, okay. So he needs to key dupe again here. So he's going to set up for another one here in Starl. Gecko is skipping the kill plane here in Valley Entry. So he's going to have to place a save somewhere else in order to be, well, like on a teleporter or whatever, in order to be able to gain access to manual saves again. So, oh, I thought he was going to Misty for a second there. I was about to have a heart attack. Misty unable to save 5 HP, my word. Okay, so Gecko's catching up in skills here. He is missing out on Bash and Charge Flame. We know where Bash is. It's at the Energy Cell in Swamp. Ooh, and Grenade's actually a pretty massive pickup as well because the Sunstone is in Blackroot, and there are a lot of pickups in Blackroot that are locked by Grenade. So pretty good for Romulus that he doesn't have to go digging for that either.
Yeah, and Rom actually in Sara he found clean water, so there is a very long swim that the runners might have to do. There's one pickup there in Blackroot, so in that case, Rom would be covered with clean water. Hopefully, again, we don't know if that's where Sunstone actually is, but if it is, I do hope that Gecko gets it as well. Meanwhile, Gecko does break the rocks. He's going to get feathers, so he's catching up nicely. Again, a little bit behind on the trees, but he does have most of the skills. Is missing Bash, so we'll see if he ends up collecting that.
I was in the middle of a friendly race earlier on with Gecko. And he was joking about how if on the restream we're going to watch him take a look at birds at least 3 times, and sure enough, we have seen bird 3 times from Gecko, once in Hollow Grove and twice here. Getting the grenade jump to go into Misty. This is a really aggressive play from Gecko. He is behind on trees. He is not going to get the Sunstone clue until way later. So he doesn't know yet whether or not he's going to have to revisit Misty. Thankfully, we know that he won't, so this isn't going to come back to bite him. But this is definitely like aggressive to the max play from Gecko to come here first instead of going into Ginzo or towards the charge jump tree or et cetera, et cetera. In the meantime, Romulus absolutely destroying Misty with a bunch of charge dash cancels with a bashing off of projectiles and enemies, and he's going to be on his 10th tree here very shortly.
Yeah, and Rom does have a time and all skills, so he knows how to maneuver around this misty area with a bunch of skills and go fast, and he's certainly showcasing it here very nicely. Gecko is trying to do the same, but I don't believe he has that experience, so maybe slightly more difficult. He does not have as much health either, so Spikes and Misty do 3 damage, so if he takes just 2 hits from Spikes, that is death. He's currently at 2 health, so maybe gonna put down a save here. Of course, he doesn't even want to waste much energy to make sure he can charge dash, but yeah, a safety save here is probably a great idea.
Yeah, this is not the easiest area to move through, especially when you don't have a way to efficiently cancel your charge dashes. He does have one stomp that's available to him, but that is not a lot. And also not a lot of HP as he takes another death there, dashing into the frog. Unfortunately, in this game, if you want to go fast, it's a lot riskier. Dashing removes your iframes, so you can very quickly just dash rapidly into a whole bunch of things and take a pretty massive death. Ooh, and Romulus, with the heads-up play, had teleported down to Blackroot and then recognized, I missed the plant above Dash Tree. And so
It
he
is
went
the
and
Sunstone.
yeah,
That
and it's
is
the Sunstone. That was an absolutely Romulus could have lost like a metric ton of time if he went down into lower Blackroot and checked all the pickups there, forgetting the dash plant. So good for him. He's on his way to Mount Horror. He's on his way to finish the game. And by the way, ignore the timer that you see on screen. I guess when he panicked with that reload in Sorrow, he accidentally reset his timer. So for the purposes of the race, you can just take a look at Gecko's timer, and you'll know where Romulus is as well.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see in the end of the escape. There's a specific grenade jump that Romulus can opt to do, and that saves a pretty big amount of time. It actually skips a cutscene at the very end. So, but it is a little bit dangerous because if you have a little trouble with the angle and don't get it quite right, you can soft lock, and in that case, you have to reload the game and start the escape from the beginning. So we'd see how aggressive he would like to take it. I'm sure he's done plenty of those in all skills, but maybe he'd like to play it safe. The seed went super well for him so far.
Yeah, and it's going to be first try door warp here from Romulus, and he's going to progress into his final escape. Nicely timed health refill there for Gecko off of the health cell pickup next to the mortar shark, so he's going to have a little bit of extra safety here. Just has to glide down carefully through the spikes. Gecko, no, the front. Oh, Gecko. Oh.
Ah. Evil, absolutely evil. Turns her out, boom, right in the face for Gecko. Quite unfortunate. Does have that save, but once again has to get through. Is he perhaps forgetting about Glide here, trying to make some dashes, hitting so many spikes on the way? Bit of a shame. This time remembering he does have Glide, gets down. Frog, please don't kill Gecko again, please. No, he does it again!
That frog should have a name. I don't know what that name should be, but that frog should definitely have a name. Romulus, left side of your screen is in the final escape, is in through the water section, which is clean thanks to that pickup in Sorrow Pass, but he spawned Kuro and panicked and charged dash into the fire on the right side. I certainly have done that many, many times throughout my randomizer career. That's a big mood, Romulus, but he's going to reset the final escape and go into it again, stomping down this floor. He's going to have to charge dash into this wall, take a hit off of the fire, which is okay because he doesn't have the poison swim to contend with. Down to 4 HP once again, floating into the water, stomping his way down. Another health cell pickup here for Romulus, for Gecko, sorry, on the right side of your screen at that Frankie Walk area. And now he's going to be doubling back down into Grotto. Still looking for further progression. He's going to find extra air dash, which is comfy, and another health cell in the Death Gauntlet roof. And Romulus kind of struggling with the charge jump over top of the Kuro trigger there in the final room, Athos.
Yeah, I mean, he could just glide up there, I believe. There is a current that you can just go up there. So maybe he's trying to go a little faster, maybe forgetting he had glide, because he did manage to do a really cool sort of climb charge jump to get up there, and the currents were there. So that might be a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a shame that Romulus is losing a bit of time on this escape. He did remember he had glide there, and the fire just snipes him right there. So another restart for Rom.
This, oh man, come on, Rom, you can do this, buddy. I believe in you. Right side of the screen, Gecko is continuing to be thorough in Grotto. Does have another energy cell. Is going to head onto the swamp tree. He is at 6 of 10 trees, just to keep you abreast of his progression, and takes a death in the water all the way back to the climb tree autosave. His camera doesn't know what to do. Gecko does. He places a save to reset the camera. In the meanwhile, Romulus, left side of the screen, is setting up for that grenade jump that you were talking about, and looks like he gets it. He is going to be walking off to the right, skipping half of this minute and 20-second cutscene. GG to Romulus.
Yeah, GG. After having a little bit of issue on the escape, sets up the grenade jump immediately, gets it first try, no hesitation. Really well done, Romulus. GG. Gecko, meanwhile, yeah, gathering some more skills here. I wonder if he'll end up going back. So he was trying to do the swim there. I believe he forgot that he does not have charge flame because he sort of swam down and then realized that he can't break it and then tried to swim out. And at that point, it was too late. But if we remember, the energy cell above that Romulus ended up getting with a grenade jump is Bash. So I wonder if Gecko will decide to check that. It looks like gonna get that experience over at the top here, and yeah, head in that direction. Hopefully, it doesn't die to the water this time.
And that is going to be time for Romulus with a 43-13. That is good for second place. Just shy of Cleanfell, who finished with a 38-58 in first place. GG to Romulus. That is going to actually do wonders for him climbing up the seating. We didn't talk about it off the top of the broadcast. Good time to mention it now is that the way the preliminaries are working is that you have to play a minimum of 5 qualifiers. You can play more than that if you want, and for the purposes of seeding, your top 5 finishes are what are going to be considered. So if Romulus, say, had a 12th place finish or whatever, doesn't matter, this would effectively replace that.
That's right, and the second place result is going to be pretty huge for Rom, so I'm sure that will help him a bunch, just like you said. And yeah, so right now he does have 5 races, but one of those races again was forfeited, so I'm sure he's going to do one more at least, just to make sure he can get a time on the board and improve his seeding. And yeah, Gecko looks like he checked all the pickups around the stump tree area, except the one that we know has Bash, so that's a bit of a shame for him there.
Yeah, and he's taking a lot of deaths here, resetting back to Death Gauntlet, because he's trying to swing his way through this lower swamp entry without refreshing his energy on the teleporter. He does have energy regen, but it ticks up fairly slowly, and he's not getting the energy that he wants for extra safety saves, I don't think. Does get the energy cell here again for a refill. We'll see whether or not he's able to succeed on his lower swamp entry. In the meantime, we will check in with Romulus. Romulus. Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Dinosaur. GG. Second place finish, my friend. How does
Thank you,
it feel?
thank you. Oh man, that was a really fun seed. I was really bummed I didn't get double jump, but that gauntlet of getting like 4 skills back to back to back, that was so incredibly fun, and that was a really really fun time.
So, bit of a weird start there with the lower Blackroot entry into Grotto. You had to dip back out to go find a keystone to go towards the double jump tree. Eventually, by the time you got there, you ended up having rocket jumps, and so you were able to get Sea Flame out of Logic, which led to you getting Charge Jump out of Logic.
Yeah, like what even was that? That was 2 lucky finds back to back. That was ridiculous. Yeah, about that one keystone, I was concerned as I was heading towards that door with only one keystone. Of course, I was concerned I wasn't going to find the second one, and it was a bit of a bummer having to dip back into Grotto like 2 or 3 times. But after we found all that, extra movement stuff, seed really opened up, and yeah, it was just tree mode from there.
The funny thing is, before the match, Gecko actually told me, "Can I please have one seed where I have enough keystones in Ginzo?" And looks like this time, instead of that hitting Gecko, it hit you a few times.
Yeah, I had to key dupe. As soon as I was going into Ginzo, I was like, "Oh crap! I only have 2 keystones. This is probably not. I'm probably not going to find one." And then I found one keystone into the mega health, which so it took even longer to key dupe. So I had to, get down to 0 health. So that was kind of ironic. But yeah, lots of more keystones would have been a lot nicer, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it was definitely a resource-starved early going in the seed here as we see Gecko making the same sort of play that you did. Looks like he's going to be heading towards Ginzo with just 3 keystones. This is going to be his first entrance into it from your play. I believe there was 1 keystone en route to the Bash tree, so he'll be fine. You won't have to do the ridiculous key dupe there. So, I have taken a look at how you were supposed to go and get these skills. So both of you, when you went to Grenade Tree, I don't believe you had air dashed yet, Romulus. You were intended to air dash over to the experience to the right, and that was Wind Restored.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, when I was going down there, I needed to keep some points available so I could skip that cutscene, and so I actively made the decision to not level up air dash. But that did cross my mind getting that pickup.
Yeah. Well, that is how the rando be sometimes. Is it just you don't quite have what you need at the time, and then either a revisit required, or you got to find another way to go, progressing throughout the seed. So you did a good job, though. Definitely those rocket jumps were paying off for you.
Yeah, I was a little concerned about doing that because I knew rocket jumps, of course, are not in standard logic as far as I remember.
Yeah, it's Expert Plus.
Okay, yeah, so it was a little tricky trying to remember what all was in logic and what was not, but I guess it paid off in a couple spots, and then after I had enough stuff, I was just able to just go.
Question from one of our volunteers working in the back scenes, Oshi. He's asking if you remembered you had the Forlorn TP.
Uh, I remembered it after I had finished key duping in Sorrow. I was like,
that's a
oh,
mood.
wait a second. Yeah, that might have honestly cost me over Clean Fell. He finished in first place with 38 minutes 58 seconds. That might have helped me get a little closer to that. I don't know if it would have made a huge difference or not, though.
I mean, it's tough to say depending on how you ordered it from there. It's just tough because the way that you route in the moment is different from how you route hide and side, right? So it's just that's what it is.
Absolutely right. You know, you got a million thoughts going on, and nerves setting in. You're wondering who's finished and who hasn't. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of nerves, when you were doing the final escape there, it looks like you took a few deaths, but yeah, were you a bit nervous maybe there? I think nobody finished at that point. Were you looking at that?
So I had actually looked to see who had finished because my timer got reset because I accidentally triggered my global hotkeys. So I was making sure I did have that screen open. But yeah, at that point I was a little bit nervous and dying in very, very silly spots. Having double jump for those couple spots that I died at definitely helps. But yeah, it's definitely flowing around a little bit, which absolutely happens all the time.
Yeah, it's all good. You're welcome to hang around with us and join in on the commentary here with Geckos. He's got 8 out of 10 trees. He still does not have Bash. We know where that is in the energy cell. Over in Swamp, he's got a couple extra pickups that he could check here he didn't have access to before. Also does not have Sea Flame or Double Jump, which you were alluding to. And man, that is just one of those skills that augments everything else so nicely that when you don't have it, it just feels a little bit weird.
Yeah, it really does, especially because you have pretty much everything else that you would need for stomp cancels besides the double jump, which helps enable that to get your movement going even faster. And so it just feels a little bit awkward.
He is going to pick up his charge flame there with the rocket jump. This is tree 9 for Gecko, so he knows the Sunstone is in Blackroot, which brings me back to asking you, Romulus. You teleported to the BRB teleporter, and then you were like, dash plant? what was, because you have that sort of in-between spot where you're like, okay, maybe I should just commit to lower Blackroot, or maybe I should go check the dash plant first. What was sort of your decision-making process behind that?
Yeah, so that's a bit of a tricky spot because, like you say, it definitely is a commitment to go down to lower Blackroot, and as it looks like Gecko is just about to do, find his Sunstone. Um, I think it's absolutely worth it to just, if you're going from the teleporter and you're thinking in the back of your mind, okay, I need to go down to lower Blackroot. It always helps to just place a save and then go check that, and then if it's nothing, which most of the time it is, then you can just reset and then you're closer to down below. I feel like it's almost always worth it to do that just so you're covering all your bases because it doesn't lose a whole lot of time.
Yeah, fair enough. We're going to see Gecko level up all the way to Ultra Defense here. If you were Gecko in this position, Romulus, I mean, he's already been to the Snob Tree, so he's not going to be getting Bash. How would you feel with everything else that you had minus Bash heading to the final escape here?
I would feel a little nervous because he doesn't have clean water, does he? Did he end
No,
up
but
finding
he's
it?
going to pick it up right here in the Dorito Caves. That's where.
Oh,
It's...
that's right. That's where it was. So yeah, with finding clean water, that absolutely makes it easier because you're gonna need to take some damage in the elemental room if you don't have bash, which I did anyway because I didn't have double jump.
Yeah, it's
So
really tough positioning to catch that elemental shot without taking damage in the fire as you're falling down. That's for sure.
mhm. Also notable is the cavern with the lava pillar in the middle. That is significantly harder without bash because you have to go around the other way and either do a charge jump into a few sea dashes or find another way around that. So I would personally, I would feel comfortable enough doing that, but it is still difficult.
Gecko here, still on 3 HP, did have the option if he wants to place another Soul Link and recover some of that hit points, which trying to get this air dash and or charge dash across the spikes can be just a little bit scary as he was looking to collect an additional keystone. Does place another save there, allowing him to take a hit on the way back. And as long as he avoids this frog shot and or places a save again, which he is not doing, he's going to kill the frog. Does take a hit though. Careful, Gecko. Okay, he's going to place another safety save before dashing across there, and it pays off as he immediately chews on some of the pizza pinnacles there on the way to the charge jump tree. But this is going to be his 10th, and he's going to be on the way to the final escape as well. Here very shortly, want to update you on the progress with the rest of our racers. Gramelios coming in third with a 47.11. Eve Order finishing with a 51 flat. Grem, aka Purple Ketchup, with a 53.02, and exactly 1 minute later, Jay Halcyon with a 54.02. Still have Henri, Turtle Run, Sarah Bear, and Apple Tree. Obviously, Gecko on screen right now. Sloters and Captain MD13 competing in this race as Gecko teleports to Swamp and is going to be heading to the final escape.
Yeah, and Gecko did tell us that he wants a top 10 finish, so far it looks like he might very well get it. So 6 people finished. He is ready to do the escape. He does have grenade jump, so if he decides to do the final one, he will save some time. And he actually told us that he wants to work on a practice save that will allow him to practice the final grenade jump more. So he's definitely something that maybe he's not super comfortable with, maybe something he's already comfortable with but wants to perfect. We're about to find out. He's going to be doing some charge dashes over here, trying to just get to the final escape as fast as possible. Doesn't need any pickups. All he wants is to spawn the bird again and make it chase him, I suppose.
Yeah, worth noting, just in case you've missed it, he does have Ultra Defense, the final skill notch on the blue tree and the ability tree, which is going to reduce some of the damage taken for him in the final escape. So despite this being more difficult for him without Bash, he does have that safety cushion as well. Going to get an attempt at door warp here very shortly. Romulus having got it first try. Let's see if Gecko can match it. The way this functions is that you reload the game after the game autosaves you right here, and then on the first frame that the game's assets actually load in, you press up and you are warped right there to the end of Mount Horu. Goodbye for extremely annoying puzzle rooms that nobody ever wants to do in a randomizer. And Gecko is going to be beginning his final escape momentarily.
First try door warp seems from both runners. That is a frame perfect trick, so very well done. And Gecko is going to be starting now, watching a bird spawn and then running away from it. Hey, Shafe, want to give us the play-by-play? I do believe I have some delay on the stream.
That's okay. 146 experience was the gift from Kuro that we got. Gecko just spamming those charge dashes to get across the first room. Does have an opportunity to land on some friendly spikes. Does not. Does take a bit of damage here. Is going to have to carefully position himself on the right side with climb and charge jump up. Accidentally stomps down. Does save it with one climb charge jump. The fire catching up, but he does escape it successfully. Does line up the climb charge jump again, stomping down this time. The fire is spread too deeply, and he does take a death and is going to get that reset. A couple other charge dashes again, getting through the first room nice and cleanly. Will he land on the friendly spikes? No, he's going to go land over there on the lava fountain, and then set up for another climb charge jump here on the wall. This time successful. Does have full HP as he's going to be heading into the elemental room, setting up for the grenade jump. Doesn't get it. That's fine. He just charge dashes into the fire, takes the one hit of damage. As you can see, it's 3 HP as opposed to the 4 that you take without ultra defense. Stomping down into the clean water. No bash. Does have charge flame though to repel the aggressive fishies here, and of course does have glide to charge jump up over the Kuro trigger quite successfully into the last shaft of the final escape. Slips off the wall there a little bit, no big deal. Trying to get the one last charge jump onto the left side of the wall. Oh, Gecko, you need to reset your dash. You need to reset your position on the wall, Gecko. Do not get this grenade jump. Okay, good. He's gonna skip it. He's gonna skip it, and he's gonna go to the right. It's GG. So I just want to explain that if you dash or bash into a wall and then try and set up for a grenade jump, it can offset your position just enough that you would soft lock if you did the grenade jump. So I'm actually really glad that he just bailed on that, because he would have had to do that whole sequence again. GG, Gecko.
Yeah, GG Gecko. And this is actually another case, I think, where double jump would have helped. If you have double jump, you can sort of soften this landing and double jump up, maybe land conveniently. But here he had to dash into the wall, which is really not great when setting up the grenade jump. It might have worked, but yeah, here the setup is pretty precise for this grenade jump. And if you mess it up slightly, sometimes it works and sometimes you just soft lock and then feel really, really sad.
But feeling really, really good is definitely on Gecko's mind. Nobody else has finished after Jay Halcyon, who was the 6th place finisher. So you talked about it earlier. Athos looking for that top 10 finish. Looks like it's going to be top 7 for Gecko. Just has to hold right for about another 15 seconds or so. Holding right, holding right. You gotta hold right. Will he do narrow hops, though? No, he's not doing narrow hops. That's it.
We have to go
Reset.
fast, Shave, here.
Oh, I suppose. GG to Gecko with a 59-17. That is good for 7th place in this preliminary match. Still have runners yet to compete. Henri, Turtle Run, Sarah Baron, Apple Tree, Sloaters, and Captain MD13 are currently still in progress. And we'll see in a moment after Gecko's had a little bit of time to calm down. What do you thought about the race? And in the meantime, I'll ask you that, Athos. What did you think about this seed?
This was a great seed. I think great revenge for that one seed that I commented at last, that Rom was there playing with that one charge jump that we've been talking about this whole time. So yeah, this one definitely a lot faster. Rom getting all these skills super early, had this gauntlet, as he mentioned in the interview, got all he needed, and then it was just boom, 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 charge dashes, grenade jump, all the really cool tech that we have, and all the movement in Ori really showcased just in one seed, which is always beautiful. Yeah, what did you think, Shave?
Yeah, pretty much the only thing missing was stomp cancels with double jump. Other than that, like it was a pretty fun seed. A little bit of a weird start, but once it got going, oh boy, did it ever get going. And you always like it when you get a whole bunch of skills in short order and are able to sort of progress in a way that you're a little bit more familiar with. Of course, the runners didn't have to do anything terribly complicated except for Gecko kind of having to do some damage boost strats in that elemental room, and of course the charge jump over top, the second half of the first room, I suppose you'd call it, in the lava pillars, and that's just a little bit awkward. But he was able to position himself up on the wall, get the charge jump, and sail into the second room. And from there, it was pretty much clean sailing, and like you said, pretty good showcase of exactly what's capable in Ori and the Blind Forest. Some tricks we didn't see. I'm sure there will be plenty of other seeds where we're going to see a bunch of crazy strats, such as tumbleweed strats in Sorrow. Those are always fun to see. But yeah, GG to Romulus and GG to Gecko for sure. We'll give him a couple more seconds here to see whether or not he wants to pop in for a quick chat. So we don't have updated standings, and we aren't going to have those for you until our broadcast tomorrow, which gives me an opportunity to remind you we're going to have Zemsis versus Infinite tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern. And then on Wednesday, it's going to be 9 o'clock, same start time as today, Turtle Guy versus Ernest. Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock, sorry, Eastern. I converted that to my time zone in my head. We have Sirius versus Liftoff, and nobody is currently slated for the heads-up match on Friday at 9, as we are fast closing in on the end of the preliminary stages. And by next week, Athos, we're going to be heading into brackets, where you have exactly 2 chances in a double elimination format.
Yeah, then it will be quite exciting to see that actual elimination, the runners fighting for their life, or not if they're in the upper bracket. But still, everyone wants to be in the upper bracket. Everyone wants to have the second chance as deep as possible into the tournament. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. The runners will be scheduling the times within them between themselves. So of course, we won't know when the brackets will actually be played out. But yeah, I feel like there's still a lot to look forward to in these preliminaries, wouldn't you say? I mean, Xemsis versus Infinite, I'm super excited about that one.
Yeah, tomorrow's match is going to be hype as all heck. Zemsis taking a game off of Triton Knight the other day, who is definitely one of the top contenders for the tournament. Zemsis, no slouch himself, and proving it in that match. Kind of maybe getting a little bit of the swagger on, as he's going to face Infinite, who's definitely a top competitor as well. We're going to have the ineffable, illustrious, scintillating Sterling Covert Muffin and a 2-kill commentary duo for you. Tomorrow night at afternoon, I should say, at 3 o'clock Eastern. And we do have word from Gecko. He's not feeling too good with his performance after that race, so he's going to skip out on the interview process, which is completely valid and acceptable. We love you, Gecko. You played well, sir. GG. And with that, we'll take off. My name is Shafe, Athos on the other side of commentary. We'll see you again tomorrow for more Ori and the Blind Forest randomizer action.